So it's time for yet another prediction for Fairy Tail, and today we're going to talk about chapter 527, which is supposedly called Passion or Feelings. I'm going to go with Passion because that's what seems to be more used. So what will Passion be about? Well, I have so many ideas, so I might actually be doing a few shorter theories on the matter instead of only a couple long ones. Without further ado, let's get right into my first theory on what might happen in the next chapter of Fairy Tail. I'm gonna start with the theory revolving the boss of Alvarez and technically the boss of Fairy Tail. The ones I'm referring to are of course Mavis and Zeref. We know that in the past, these two actually had feelings for one another despite them both being cursed by Anxaram. So it wouldn't be beyond me if some of that resurfaces in the near future, and we know Lucy, Gray and Happy are actually sent to find Mavis, so clearly she has a plan regarding Natsu, but we don't know what it is, so maybe we'll actually get to see Mavis and Zeref meet again by the end of chapter 527. Now I'm a bit skeptical about this theory simply because we haven't seen them reach Mavis yet, so it would be rather rushed. But it's also possible that Mavis as well as Zeref will just talk indirectly to each other, much like they did when Mavis was still a ghost. Another thing that this chapter may be referring to is of course a different kind of passion, which is the fact that with August out of the picture, all 12 Spriggans are either defeated or have yielded. So we may get a speech by someone, possibly Gildarts or Mavis, someone who is capable of sensing that there are only Zeref and Acnologia left, and if all the Spriggans are out, it's technically a victory for Fairy Tail. And what I mean by a different kind of passion is that we may get something like we did with Natsu during the S-Class trials, when he held a short speech near Makarov where he told Makarov that Fairy Tail is a guild with so much passion that the likes of evil cannot hope to defeat them. This is what we may get, but probably not by Natsu. Well, it could be by anyone, but seeing as Natsu is a little busy, I find it more likely that it's going to be someone who's just wanna fight, much like Gildarts. It could also be an Acnologia chapter, since we haven't seen him since like chapter 524 or something like that. The last moment we had was when he stomped the remains of Eileen and seemed to care little for Wendy and Ursa, despite Wendy being a dragon slayer and all, and it could be Acnologia talking to the body of Eileen further as he did as he stomped on her before. He could simply be indirectly thanking her for bestowing such power upon him, and by doing so allowing Acnologia to live the life he's had, a life which burns with the passion of killing. Lastly, I do think it could wrap up the August and Gildarts fight, as we saw August bite the dust in the last chapter, so we might get some final flashbacks of August explaining his passion for whatever it may be, helping his father most likely. I mean, we know he found Zeref and decided to help him out in ruling Alvarez, so that's most likely what he lives for and is very likely to happen. We may get to see August at a different age than the old guy we know well and the little boy we saw in 526, so it's possible that we'll get some proper insight on what August's life was actually like. I don't think he's actually dead, to be honest, but I could be wrong. I mean, Gildarts did blow up all over him, so it's not exactly unlikely that he's dead, but at the same time, August seems to be quite a resilient fellow, unless that loophole in his magic left his defenses wide open, as well as causing him to break the moment someone got past his seemingly unbeatable magic. Well, that's about all I have on predicting 527. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think will happen in 527? And as always, if you did, please like this video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new to my channel. See ya soon.